Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. I'm so excited for today's video because I'm going to be introducing my eyeshadow project pan for the first half of the year or so. This isn't going to be what I'm focusing on for the entire year, but I'm thinking it's going to lead up until the summer. So until further notice, this is my eyeshadow project pan. So these are my Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes. I have 3 of them and we're going to be focusing on them for the next several months. We're going to be calling this Project Huda Beauty because these are my Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes that we're going to be focusing on. So not a very creative title, but yeah, I think Project Huda is like affordable housing programs. So yeah, this is more of like a Project Huda Beauty. These are going to be the 3 palettes that I'm focusing on. We're going to pull some random shades. I just want to pan as many Huda eyeshadows as I possibly can. So what led me to this idea was this Mercury Retrograde palette. This was the first Huda palette that I got. I got this back in 2019. I bought this for myself as a graduation gift, and you guys can see that it is very well loved by me. I actually just hit pan in this shade here called Libra, creating today's look, which was in the Get Ready With Me video that is coming up. Is it already up? I don't know. This palette is definitely well loved by me. However, it was recently on sale for $26 instead of $67. So I did go ahead and pick myself up a new one. I've really never done that with an eyeshadow palette because it takes so long to use them up, and you know, they last for a really long time. But I have had this now for over 2 years, and the longest I've ever kept an eyeshadow palette and used it, I believe, is 3 years. That's usually when I notice the formula is kind of drying out or not performing as well. So with this palette being such a favorite of mine, I did decide to go ahead and replace it. However, this palette does still work beautifully for me. I created today's look with it. I don't have any problems with it. And I want to hit pan on as many shades in this particular palette as I possibly can before I retire this one and bring in the new one. So that new one is going to stay unopened in my collection until this one is ready to be retired, which is why I'm doing this project. So I decided to go ahead and focus on my other Huda palettes as well. So I got this one in December of 2019. And then in February of 2020, my grandma surprised me and got me this palette. This is the Nude Light palette again. This one is very loved by me. I do have pan in 4 of the shades. I would ideally like to have pan all of them. So I've got some pretty big dips in the other shades. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take some before pictures today as well, and we're gonna see the progress I can make. My newest Huda palette, I believe I got in September of 2021, and I don't have any pans in it yet because it's like pretty new. So this is one that I would just like to use a little bit more, and I'm not sure if my goal is going to be to actually hit pan in a shade if I pull it into this project or not, but I wanted to go ahead and include this palette in this project since I'm gonna have the other 2 in here. But the main focus are the 2 of these, specifically the Mercury Retrograde palette. I think I would actually like to hit pan in every shade of this palette before then, but I don't know about these 2 deepest shades or the 2 blue shades. I don't really use those quite as much, and I'm not sure like how long it would take to hit pan on them, but just in general, I want to hit pan on more of these shades and just use them all more. So we're going to be picking some random shades, but on top of the random shades, these are just going to be palettes in general that I'm working on. So for this project, I'm going to be specifically choosing 5 shades that I want to focus on, and we're going to randomly select those. So I'm actually going to try and randomly select most of them out of the 2 of these palettes, and then we will select 1 shade out of this one to focus on as well. If I get a pressed glitter in this one, I will re-roll it because that's just not like realistic for me to use either one of those. So yeah, actually let's go ahead and roll for this shade in here. I guess if I get the concealer shade, I will try and hit pan on it. I don't use it a ton. I feel like it's kind of strange to be in this palette, but yeah, let's go ahead and pick that shade. So I'm going to use a random generator on my computer. I'm going to number it 1 through 18, and then we'll pick a number. Okay, we got number 15, which is this shade here called Tease. And this is a pretty neutral color. It's a little bit more of like a brown kind of pink neutral. So I feel like that would be a good shade to focus on. It's a nice neutral color. I will still be using some shades out of the rest of this palette, but that's the only one I'm going to actually choose right now for this palette. And then I'm going to now set my random generator from numbers 1 through 27. We're going to start with the Mercury Retrograde palette, just since this is the first palette I've owned. It's going to be 1 through 6, then we're going to go like this all the way to 18. And then we're going to start with 19, 20, 21, and again go like this to 27. If I roll a number where the shade already has pan in it, then we'll just re-roll. I just feel like that's the easiest way to do it. So we set it 1 through 27, and we're going to choose 4 shades within this round. The first one is 9, so that's going to be from the Mercury Retrograde palette. That's kind of funny. So that is the shade Libra, which is the one I actually hit pan on today. So yeah, Project Huda has already happened, but yeah, I'm gonna actually count this as 1 because I have actually been focusing on the Huda palettes in the last few days, and that's why I used it today. So I'm gonna count this as 1 pan in Project Huda. Like, I literally hit pan on it creating this look to film this video, so I hope that's okay with you guys. But we're gonna go ahead and re-roll since I did already hit pan on that. So next up is 22, so we're gonna have to jump to the Nude light palette. We already have pan in this one as well. Maybe I should have done this differently. 16 is next. We're gonna go back. Am I like building up suspense for you guys yet? Okay, one that I don't have pan in. Number 16 is this one called Karma from the Mercury Retrograde palette. This is again a pretty neutral shade, but it's more orange than the shade Tease from the New Nude palette. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up here. It was like a really bad swatch of that first shade, but those are gonna be really fun to use, I think, together as well. I really like this shade a lot. I use it with this one here called Utopia all the time. So let's see what's next. Number 4 is next. Oh, number 4 is my favorite shade in this palette. It's the one called Nebula. I've got giant pan in it, so we can just go ahead and re-roll. Oh, good. Okay, number 2 is Utopia that we were just talking about. So I already use this a lot with the shade Karma, so I'm really happy about that. I love this shade so much. It's more of a bright and a lighter shade, whereas this one called Karma actually can deepen up the look pretty well. I love to use the Utopia shade as well with this one called Crave in the Nude palette, so that'll be a fun way to use this palette some more. Okay, next up is 26. Okay, wow, we're getting like a lot of neutrals. Number 26 is this one here from the Nude light palette. Again, this is a very neutral matte shade, so this is going to be interesting to use all of these at the same time. Why does this always happen to me? If you guys have ever seen any of my palette bingos, you'll know I always end up getting like all matte shades. Let's see what the last one's going to be. Maybe we need to choose 6. Number 6 was actually next. Ooh, okay, I don't know about that one. It's another matte shade, but it's definitely not neutral. It's this shade here called Haze. I used this on the outer corner today. I have like virtually no use in this shade, so that one's going to be really interesting to see if I can even get like a little dip in it, because this is really not a shade that I wear very often. Like, it's just so bright. It's not really like office friendly for work, so this might just have to be a shade that I use on the weekends. But because I got all matte shades, let's roll and get just one shimmer. It doesn't matter if I roll another matte, I'm going to keep rolling until I get just one shimmer shade. So next is 17. Okay, well that's nice, we got a shimmer shade. So I really like this one and it'll go well with everything. This is the shade Gold Glitch. This is such a pretty shade. I love it so much, and that will make this much easier. So these are going to be the 6 shades that we focus on for my eyeshadow project pan or my Project Huda Beauty, and I'm really pumped about this. Let me know if you guys want me to do a video where I create a look with all of these shades. It's not going to be that difficult. Like, they go together pretty well. I feel like this would actually be really pretty on the lower lash line, especially in the summer or the spring. So I'm not mad about this color story at all. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very excited for these colors. I've been wanting to try and do an eyeshadow project pan, but I didn't know how to structure it. And choosing 5 random shades around my whole collection just didn't really appeal to me, because I don't want to have to dip between 5 different palettes. But with it being just out of 3 palettes and mostly out of 2, I feel a little bit more inclined to want to do this project. So I really hope that this is interesting for you guys, and you can expect to see a lot of content from me using these palettes. So let me know down below if you own any of these, and I can try and feature that one maybe a little bit more than the others. I feel like a lot of you guys have got the Mercury Retrograde palette, and you know, maybe you picked it up on sale too for that $26 from Sephora. While I'm filming this, let me see if it's still on sale. I don't know if they're discontinuing this palette or what. I had a feeling that's what was happening. Wow. Is it being discontinued, or is it just not at Sephora anymore? Okay, it is still available on Huda's website, but it's full price there for that $67. Honestly, guys, it's worth it. I bought it for that, and I don't regret it for a minute. You guys can see how much use I've already gotten out of it, but it's not available at Sephora anymore. I kind of figured because it was on sale, they would get rid of it, but I kind of thought they were just selling it to make more room for like the rose quartz palette and stuff, because they have limited amount of space in their stores. I'm kind of surprised they got rid of it on the app though, like even just for order, but I don't know. If you have this palette, let me know down below if you want to see anything specific with it. But yeah, if you're interested, I will go ahead and film a video where I just use these shades to create a look, and I can definitely do that for you guys. But I'm going to be updating you on this. I'm not sure for this project if it's going to be every single month or if I'll do like every 6 weeks or maybe every other month. Let me know down below, please, what you want to see with that. I'm asking you guys a lot of questions today. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more content from me, especially with these Huda palettes. I'm very excited to feature them even more on my channel. You probably know already how much I love them. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!